Well, pattern's beginning to emerge, Tommy. Airfield controller bought by the villains. Wireless operator in van, expert gunman, bent transit driver, escape plane. 7 or 8 heavies to cost the police.
We've got 3 of them in the bag, so that's not too bad.
Oh, Tommy. Those boys can't even write their own names, they're so thick. Now, those 4 or 5 on the ammonia, they're clever men, specially trained. That's where I want my next one, Tommy. Right from the middle.
Like Joe Tyzak?
Yeah.
Phillips is quite sure it was Tyzak who sprayed him. He's tough enough and he's got a record.
Phillips can't identify him, can he? He's blind.
Only in one eye. I've just been to see him. The other's improving. He's beginning to see out of it.
Oh, well, then what are we waiting for? Let's have an identification.
Half-blind policeman. Nice handle for the defense.
It's good enough to get him inside. That's where I need him.
No trouble with the remands?
What do you think? Is Tyzak still home?
Sure. Reckons he's clean as a whistle.
Okay. Pull him in. And tell him at Westmarsh I want every inch of that airfield gone over again. And have the fire tender and extinguishers checked and rechecked. Hello, Joe. How are you?
What do you want?
Just another of our friendly little chats.
I thought you had finished with me.
Oh, dear, no. Policeman's work's never done. Interviews, statements, corroborative evidence, identification parades, visits to prison. Building all the time. Oh, you'll have 2 remands. Maybe even 3 before we're ready to send you up the steps.
You won't get another remand on your evidence, and you know it.
Identification. Best evidence I know.
By a blind cop who's been fixed.
Oh, you fixed him all right, Joe. But not thoroughly enough. I can get a conviction on that alone any time I like.
Never.
Do you want to bet? 35 years each way?
Look, I don't have to talk to you in here. Anytime I want, 1 word to him, and I go back to my cell and you're out.
Yes, I'm only trying to help. The big boys, they were at fault. Using a bloke like you in the first place, a man with a record like yours, but you can see why they did it. They were buying experience. There aren't many like you around. A professional industrial chemist who's tough enough not to care how much GBH goes on.
Fairy tales.
You know, I'm going to get those big boys before I've done. And they're really going to get it. And you'll be right up there with them. Well, that's not fair, is it? I mean, you're only small on this thing.
But Bushky.
Yes, but you can't afford to make mistakes, not in your job. Oh, I admit that gas mask was the latest thing. But that eyepiece, that really was a mistake, Joe.
Look, I tell you, I don't even know what you are talking about.
That's a pity. You're just coming to the interesting bit. You give me the gen now, could help you. Could help you a hell of a lot. You might even be able to think about living again. As it is, 35 years. Even if you're alive at the end of it, there'll always be that copper. You've seen him, Joe. Before and after. You'll never work as a policeman again. A lot of people aren't going to forgive you for that, Joe.
What are you trying to give me, a conscience? Where I come from, there's no such thing as a conscience left.
Joseph Tyzak.
Joseph Tyzak.
Oh. Czech, isn't he?
He came from Lidice, and I don't suppose you've even heard of it.
Oh, yes. I had my bit of a war. Do you mind? They killed all the men in Lidice as a reprisal. Some Nazi leader was assassinated.
Heydrich.
Aye.
Joe saw both his parents shot that day. He was 8.
When did he come to this country?
When he was 14. Can you imagine it? When he left the orphanage, the first money he had, he started studying for a degree. That was when I met him. Oh, we were young to get married, but I went on working. We saved every penny so that he could qualify.
What went wrong?
Wrong?
He enjoys the social side of prison life?
Have you finished? Get out.
But I haven't finished, Mrs. Isaac. Right, come on in. Bedroom. This one. Well, you know all about it. It isn't the first time after all, is it?
What are you looking for?
Never know till you find it.
Well, you won't find it here.
How are you managing, Mrs. Tyzack, the way things are?
I've managed before.
Enough money to live on?
Mind your own business.
Part of my job. Checking up on prisoners' dependents.
You won't get anything out of me, copper, no more nor you will out of Joe. He never told me about that side of his life, and I never asked.
What do you mean the chief constable can't spare any more men? Well, let me talk to him. Well, all right, I'll wait. Any luck?
Not one little dicky bird.
Not with all that Celtic charm?
Proper little tiger. She'll never grass. She's mad about him.
She'll have a long wait. Oh, ask him to hurry up then, will you, please?
The way she went on about him. She'll wait for him. Funny, that sort of loyalty, even though she knows what he's like. Can't help it. I feel a bit sorry for her.
Hans Joseph Tyzack, aged 33, 2 previous convictions in this country, both with violence. He's used a gun, he's thrown acid. There's a girl with the scars to prove it, and his wife is behind him. Hello, sir. I'm afraid it's become absolutely vital that we check that airfield again.
Ah, good day, Mrs. Tyzack.
Oh, Mr. Lawrence.
Oh, Joe's in trouble. No, it's a pity to see a good boy like that rotting away in chokies, so I've decided to give him a helping hand. Now, by a happy chance, a dear friend of ours, one Chuck Nelson, for his sins, is also on remand in that very same prison. And Chuck is being kind enough to keep an eye on Joe Tyzack for us. In fact, he's aiming to share the same cell with him.
But how are you aiming to fix that? What about the screws? They're red hot in that palace.
Of all the prison officers in that prison, Mr. Collins is the most cooperative you could ever wish to meet. And his wife really appreciates that 25 quid his rich aunt in Streatham sends him regular every Thursday by registered envelope. Now, Dickie boy, you are going to find a nice, tall, plain van, OK? Then one fine morning, you and Dave are going to drive up this road here and right up alongside the prison wall here. That'll be all right. It's a very quiet neighborhood. Now, you'll see a vital message chalked up on the wall. That is your exact place to stop. Now, you will, of course, keep your engine running. And it's up to you, Dave. Just as the prison clock strikes 10, you will throw a rope ladder over the wall so that it drops down close by a buttress on the other side. After 15 seconds precisely, your job will be done and you will drive off. And as you leave, you should hear the alarm bell start to ring from inside the jail. All right?
Sounds like a Slade special.
Oh, that's not all, Bruno. We've got plenty of surprises left. Oh, by the way, we'll have to arrange for the lucky boy to get the good news. And that's woman's work, Janet, my love. Now, the law's got a tail on Mary Tyzack, so try not to be too obvious, darling.
I wasn't born yesterday, Mr. Slade. You should know that. If he wants out, now's the time while he's still on remand.
Before the trial, but that would mark him down as guilty.
Craddock wouldn't charge him if he wasn't sure. Ask him. Mrs. Tyzack, we're only trying to help.
Who sent you?
Good friends, no names.
How much?
Look, love, don't worry. We want him out as much as you do. You'll be set up for life.
How will I get in touch with you?
You can't. I'll get in touch with you.
All right. I'll tell him.
You've got company. Behave yourselves and keep the chat down.
Chuck Nelson. England expects.
Tyzack.
Up aloft?
Yes?
Well, I'll take the deluxe model then. You know, I've got a shrewd suspicion you're not much of a talker.
I mind my own business.
Wise man. Still, bit of company for a change, no harm in that. Give you someone to tell your troubles to.
Joe, how can we be sure it's not a trick?
There's no trick.
Why don't they want any money?
They can't risk leaving me in here. I know too much.
Joe, promise me something.
I don't care what it costs, how much it takes. Once I'm out of here, we won't need anything anymore.
It might be dangerous. Promise me you won't go through with it if it's too late.
Out of here. Tell them yes. Yes.
Not me, mate. You find yourself some other mug.
Up to you, Mr. Collins.
Look, bit of help on the inside. Juggling the rosters, turning a blind eye.
Paid off, innit?
But bunging somebody over the wall, especially somebody like him, that could break me.
Look, you know who I work for, the sort of man he is. Play it his way, you're on velvet. Cut across him and...
Slade doesn't scare me, mate. What, in here? I'm fireproof.
I was thinking more of that missus of yours.
Yeah.
Got 2 kids and all. You showed me that photograph. Very lovely boy and girl. Can't all be fireproof.
He wouldn't. No, he'd never.
He might. Could be very nasty when he's crossed. So I told her to stuff it. Salt and battery, they called it. Went into this strip club, had a few drinks. Lost me temper. Never make it stick, mind. With the sort of lawyers I got, I'll be walking out of here next week free as a breeze.
You seem pretty sure.
I got good connections, see? Important friends. Like you.
Me? I have no friends.
I should do, mate.
How do you know?
Your friends are the same friends as my friends, Joe. Best in the business. £5.5 million, eh? Blimey, that's enough to buy the Old Bailey.
You?
One of the heavy mob. Small world, ain't it, Joe? One half don't know what the other half's doing. It's all laid on for Thursday.
Well, that extra search on the airfield certainly paid off. Look at this. The prints on the cigarette packet they found. They're Tyzacks.
Right. No bother about remands now. Up the steps with him nice and smooth. That's our first big one in the net, Tommy. Calls for a little celebration. We'll finish this off for a start.
Why not? Why not?
Right, stand still. Stay where you are.
Don't move! One away, Mr. Parker. Right, line up. Come on, come on!
In the exercise yard. You better go and help. Right, get on with your work.
Dead on time. Good morning. No trouble?
None. I met the van, picked him up, nobody followed the car. Went like a dream.
Good girl.
What are we locked in?
Precautions.
Where's my wife?
Oh, now look, Joe, for your age, she's red hot. Just give things time to cool off, will you? You'll be quite comfortable here. It's warm, dry, completely soundproof. Every modern comfort.
How long will I have to stay here? Thank you.
Listen to the man. Not a word of gratitude. Wants to leave before he's hardly arrived. I don't know. Such a nice-looking bloke, wouldn't you say so, Jenny?
Real dishy.
Lovely, honest face. Now, you'll be staying with us for as long as you make it necessary, Joe.
What do you mean?
Well, what we've done for you hasn't been cheap. And all those vehicles...
Well,
all
I'll
the,
pay. How much?
Oh. Well, let's see. For a responsible job, like you did. I mean, organising all those fire engines, all that ammonia. Well, that must have been worth 30,000 of anyone's money.
I said, how much for getting me out?
I told you. 30,000, Joe. Sit down. Sit down, Joe.
The gentleman asked you twice.
Don't know. For the last time, I don't know. And if I did, I would never tell the police.
Oh, I didn't hear that. That could come under the heading of obstruction, Mrs. Tyson.
Well, that is up to you.
I don't know. It's always you ladies who surprise me. Never the villains, always the wives. Put up with anything the lads dish out, won't you? When they're inside, you suffer years of loneliness, misery. But you never give up, you never crack.
I know what you're trying to do. It won't work.
No, what's the big secret? Just tell me, because I'm really interested. Is it that you're too ashamed to admit that you failed?
I've never let Joe down.
I didn't mean it that way.
How did you mean it?
Well, don't tell me you haven't tried to straighten him out.
Haven't you got a wife of your own? Doesn't that tell you how I feel?
No, it doesn't. Not in my case.
I
you
don't
see.
care what Joe is or what he's done. I love him and I'll always love him. Some people really can feel like that.
Yes, you can. Can he?
Yes, he can.
You sure? Hasn't been in touch with you?
He's not mad.
You sure he'll ever come back? I wouldn't like to bet on it, Mrs. Tyson.
You stop at nothing, do you?
Seems to me if that's what he really wanted, the two of you together, he'd have made the necessary preliminaries. Sent you away somewhere first, you know, before he broke jail. Well, it's logical, isn't it? Didn't you ever suggest that to him?
You're trying to make me say I knew he was coming out.
Well, you should have known. Unless it's all one-sided. Funny you don't know where he is.
One day when you lot stop breathing down my neck, when he's good and ready, he'll send for me. Don't you worry.
I wouldn't bank on it, Mrs. Tyson.
You can get out now. Get out and leave me in peace.
Peace. You will be lucky.
Feeling the pinch, Joe?
He's been saying, Joe, that, well, if you don't get hungry enough, he's going to have to try something else.
Nothing.
It's somebody to see you, Joe.
Hello, Joe. Nice to see you.
It don't seem to be mutual.
Come on, Joe, you might at least say hello. If it wasn't for Chuck here, you'd still be in that nasty, smelly prison.
They tell me the grub's nothing but filth in those places. When Chuck here heard you were in the same government hotel, being a soft-hearted sort of a bloke, he can't bear to see you suffering. So naturally he gets in touch
What
with
are
it.
you, some sort of comedian?
I'm telling lies.
You're good, but you're on too long.
All I'm saying is, who's a clever boy then?
Yeah. Well, compared with my old Oppo here, I'm just a beginner. Joe's a clever one. That's why he doesn't waste his time talking to yobs. That's why he's been hanging on. Right, Joe? Looking for a friendly face. Now, you can trust me. We told each other lots of little secrets.
Looks like the best of friends must part.
You filthy...
No, Chuck, no, no. Not he gets here now. That's orders.
All right. I can wait. But once we get the word, boy, oh boy.
Oh, here's a coincidence. This bloke Nelson moves in with Tyzak 2 days before the break. Why was that?
Nelson was in with a spade he didn't fancy. There might have been an accident.
You moved in?
With permission from the office.
I see.
Look, sir, we want this joker back as much as you do.
Nelson shares his cell. Nelson's on the same detail in the kitchen. Another coincidence. Now Nelson's been acquitted, he can't be found.
Well, you can't blame us if he's got good lawyers.
Been studying the case, have you? Like a man who takes an interest in his work.
Not especially. Sir, if you're trying to say that I've been neglectful in my duties,
Oh, I wouldn't dream of saying that. Not unless I had proof.
Oh, the governor said, would you pop in to see him before you go?
Fine. Haven't gone yet. Right. There's the wall the ladder went over. Prison Officer Parker supervising exercise here in the yard. You're in the scullery here on the swill job. Yet, you see the ladder before Parker. You give the alarm?
Yes.
Yes?
What do you expect me to do? Give 3 hearty cheers?
I expect you to be supervising your prisoners, Mr. Collins, one of whom escaped at this very moment. Another coincidence?
I was doing my duty. The governor praised me for being so observant.
Well, maybe the governor is a firm believer in coincidence.
Where, Joe? Where? Okay. You're trying my patience. All right, in the chair. We'll have to try a few refinements, Bruno. Where do you think you're going?
You know the things I can watch and the things I can't watch.
Oh, now you'll say this. All part of the fun.
Please?
You know, I'm beginning to have my doubts about you.
Never break him.
I'll have a bloody good try. And you'll watch. Ready? Turn it on.
How did it go?
It didn't. Everybody covering up. There's a screw in there. He's so bent, you could open a bottle with him. Tysak got away in that swill lorry. I'll bet my bottom dollar. And now you're in on the disappearing act. Where the hell have you been all day?
I've been down at Hounslow. I left word where I was.
What's Hounslow got to do with it?
Clegg wanted a word with me.
Oh, Clegg did he? Look, are you on the gold
He
robbery
wanted to
job?
talk to you, urgently. You weren't here and you apparently weren't available, so I went instead.
What was so urgent?
Your son was coming up before the magistrates.
Christ.
It's all right.
All right.
There was a punch-up at the club where Terry does his disco thing. Some of the kids had some dope on them. Actually, Terry was only trying to help. The case was dropped, of course.
I really was innocent, no fiddle.
No fiddle. But Clegg was worried. You know, if the press had got hold of the name and connected it, you know how they are.
Yeah, I do know how they are.
Shook Terry up a bit.
Shaking me up a bit. Did you tell him what a bloody fool he is to work in a place like that?
No. That's a job for his father.
Tell me, how the hell can I get away?
You can't, John. Not this time. Terry's waiting outside.
You cunning old bastard.
Terry.
Hi, Terry. How are you?
All right. Thanks, Dad.
See, you've had your hair cut. Ah, glad you came to see me. You all right, dear?
Not entirely.
Tell me all about it.
I know he has.
Playing discs. Not really much of a job, is it?
It's as good a job as most. I'm good at it. It's good money.
Yeah, look what happened last night.
There are only kids enjoying themselves. Everyone has to pick on them.
You smoke, don't you?
Yes.
Pot, I mean.
Yes, I've tried it. Who hasn't? It didn't happen to turn me on, and it's expensive, so I gave it up.
You ever tried anything else?
No.
Ah, you're only 19. Did damn well at school. It's not the end of the world failing that exam. That's what it's all about, isn't it?
No. I can run my own life. I've had to, haven't I? I'm not a kid, Dad.
Look, I know it's difficult having to do all that study again.
I never expected to get through. But I'm not disappointed. I wanted to fail. Can't help it.
What can't you help?
Not wanting to be a doctor.
But Terry, you've talked about being a doctor for years.
No, Dad. You've talked about it for years. I never wanted it. I can't stand hospitals and sick people and the smell.
And why the hell didn't you say so? How could I know if you didn't tell me?
I wanted to do what you wanted me to. I wasn't too bad at first. For a while, I even thought I'd make it till you went away. Stopped living with us. It wasn't all your fault, and I'm not blaming you, but...
For what? I'd like to know what my son thinks of me.
Well, I just don't happen to think it was all your fault.
What wasn't?
The way you've treated Mum. I mean, messing about. That girl and everything.
Oh, now look...
I know how maddening Mum can be, but... God, don't I know it. Cooped up in that dreary house with her fussing about and saying stupid things, driving her nearly mad. Well, I'm stuck with it. I can't leave her now, can I? Well, you're the lucky one. The one that got away.
Well, in that case... I don't think there's any way that I can help you, Terry.
No. There isn't. And don't worry. I won't be the one that tarnishes the old Craddock image.
Mary?
No.
Not yet. Follow me in a few minutes. There's a car outside.
Mary?
What have they done to you?
I always try to keep my promises. It's worth something, surely.
Oh, Joe.
They're not the people you think they are. They want the money.
Take her over there.
Come on.
She can't help you, Slade. She knows nothing.
Doesn't she? We'll see.
You see, I'm getting a little bored with Mr. Slade and his friends. Well, that's the trouble with those sort of men. They enjoy it too much. Then they get greedy. Oh, it's not that I mind the jackals cleaning up the remains. In fact, they're sometimes quite useful, especially if they keep the police busy. It is nice to see Mr. Craddock earning his salary, isn't it? Thank you, Lee. I'm not worried about Tyzack. He won't talk, however hard he's squeezed. Now that Slade has got hold of his wife, he may well get hold of his money. And then he'll be licking his lips for more. Now that could easily become a habit. A boring and Extremely dangerous habit. You know, I'm very much afraid we shall have to make an example of Mr. Slade. Pour encourager les autres.
Oh, Sutton. What happened then? Why didn't you follow her?
I didn't have anything to follow her in, sir.
Well, taxi, stop a car, anything.
I couldn't find one quick enough.
Go on.
Nobody's ever talked to her before, and no cars stopped outside the flat. Every day she goes shopping, then to the church, then home.
Blast.
I phoned the number in straight away.
Yes.
And I'd know that other woman in the car again anywhere.
Well, I hope you will.
Excuse me, sir. Just heard. All Mrs. Tysack's bills have been paid, and the landlord received 3 months in advance.
Oh, that's just fine. Now we really have lost them.
Well, go and help. Janet can't lift her up the stairs alone. That was just a sample.
All right. You win.
How much and where?
15,000.
Use notes?
It's buried near my home. You needed a drawing.
Sit down. Get him a pencil and paper.
The car in which Mrs. Tysack departed was hired, quite legitimately. It was returned at 7:18 the same day. The hirers were Costa Sun Tours Limited. Their address is 73...
Oh, let's not worry about addresses. Let's worry about the names of the directors. Don't tell that thing. It might tell the computer.
You know who the managing director is?
No.
Herbert Edward Slade.
Slade? We really are among the rough boys. I thought his front was betting shops.
Always changing. He bought this outfit last August.
Probably wanted a holiday. Mr. Teddy Slade. They say every time he kills a man, he throws a party. I can believe it.
He won't leave much of Tysack.
As long as he leaves something, I'm happy. Let's get near Slade. But be careful. He's never been caught yet. He's got friends in high places.
He's probably gone straight to the law.
You've done so much bird you're twittering. He's got the money. And that's all he's got, isn't it? We've got his wife. Yes. He'll be back, don't you worry.
Yeah, we've still got his wife, like you said, Mr. Slade.
All right, bring her in.
She doesn't know anything. So you've proved that by now. Anyway, what's the point?
If she tells us where the money is now, we could still get to it before Tysack. That's the point.
Raving mad. She'd go straight to the police.
Who asked you to interfere, Put her in the chair. All right, where's the money? Come on, come on, come on.
I don't
Where is it?
know.
Come on, come on.
I don't
Give
know.
it, give it.
I
Teddy,
don't
I'm
know.
warning you.
You shut up. Do you want some of the same?
I don't care what the hell you do to me anymore.
been round to the office asking questions. They want to see you.
We'll have to get her out of here. Right, get her out of here, quick. Where's her coat?
Yeah.
Come on. Get it. Put her in it. There, the scarf.
He said the scarf.
Get a move on. All right, Mrs. Tysack, you're free to go now. Nothing's been touched. Go on. Okay. Nelson.
His wife is one of my parishioners.
Not Tysack?
No.
Then how did you recognize him?
They've lived here for some time. I know a lot about him from his wife. She suffered a great deal, and she came here as often as she could for consolation.
Pretty regularly, eh?
Every day, till she went away. And when I read about that, I thought she'd gone off and joined him somewhere together. That's why it seems so strange he should turn up here this afternoon, alone, and in such a ghastly state.
Well, thank you for letting us know. It's unexpected in your position.
A true sanctuary of the mind, is given only to the innocent and the truly penitent. I don't think this man comes into either category. I only hope I did right.
You did very well, Mr. Lawrence. Thank you. Well, how much, Tommy?
Close on 30,000 at a rough guess.
All right, bring him in. Sit down here. You did a good job on you. Was it worth it? Even for all that? You foxed us there, using holy ground. It's a bright idea. So long as the moles weren't in the know.
My wife checked every day to see if it was safe.
You plan to buy her back?
Keep some.
Meet Slade halfway. You're an optimist.
You know about Slade?
Not all. We might pull him in for murder. With your help. Mary.
I don't believe you. I don't believe you.
Don't you? They ran her down in cold blood, Joe.
I'll tell you about Slade. I'll take you to him, I'll tell you everything.
All you know about the gold robbery? Full admission.
Slade.
Look, you've not got much to lose now, have you? The robbery.
Slade. Let's get Slade. You get Slade.
All right, I'll get him. Trust me. Now, tell me all you know about the robbery. All right, take him away and lock him up.
They've identified Slade. Looks like all of his mob. Made a good job of it.
Oh, they're an efficient outfit, our gold robbers, we know that. Well, they're not all sunning themselves on some foreign beach, Tommy. Not the ones that count. They're here. Somewhere in this city. They're still here.